Okay, so because here we go, we're in December now. We have this this last bit of this year, and we also have a bit more time, a couple more weeks before solstice. So we have some time of the days continuing to be shorter, even though it doesn't happen quickly anyway. You know, it takes time for the light to travel back. This can be, you know, this time of year is a really good time of year to go more inward. I mean, nature calls us to dive more inward. And so, and we're, you know, in this pandemic, so we have the opportunity to be more inward. And you've probably noticed that already. I'm sure I'm not breaking any news to you at this point in time. So how do we use that time of being more inward? If we were to think about the 8 limbs of yoga, the 8 limbs, the yamas, which are the social restraints, the 5 senses and the 5 organs, kind of the niyamas, which are the self-disciplines, the more self-disciplines of the mind. And then we would go to the asana, which is about the movement of our body, keeping our body able to move and be in positions for longer periods of time. So we've got the yamas, the niyamas, the asana, pranayama, where we work to control the breath in order for us to have better ability to quiet the mind. Pratyahara is about decreasing the external distractions, the noises, all the different senses, how to draw them more in instead of always being outward. It would be like, and when you wake in the morning, not turning on more noise, keeping it quiet. So, and then there's Dana, which is about concentration. Dharana is about a single focused. And all of these lead to samadhi, which is bliss, which is this. And so we have the 8 limbs, and we want to really practice some of all of these. If we only practice asana, if we only practice moving the body, then we're missing, according to yoga, we're missing the journey to the real, to samadhi. We're missing the experience of getting all the way to that place of quiet, of bliss, of ease, of impermanence. So one of the, so this time of year, it can be helpful to sometimes identify what is one habit, one thing, as we, you know, sometimes people set New Year's resolutions, whatever, but what is, you know, one thing that I would like to have more in my life, discipline myself to make more space for. So this time over, you know, as you head towards a new year, you can often reflect a little and maybe set up a time. This is what I'm going to be doing. I am going to get up in the morning, and I'm going to get up early and before the sun comes up. I'm just sharing ideas. And, you know, I'm not going to turn the radio on, or I'm not going to read the news, or I'm just going to have quiet. I mean, these are ideas. Or I'm going to sit and I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to, for 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. I'm going to see what happens if I start adding one of these. Now, tapas is one of the niyamas, tapas. And we often think of tapas as discipline. And it is, but tapas is about heat. Tapas is about friction. This doesn't mean that we practice yoga in a really hot environment. Tapas is about the friction, the heat that is created when we bump up against say a habit. Say we have a habit of getting up and looking at Facebook or something. And so to break that habit, if I decide that's one of the things I want to do, there is going to be friction. There's going to be friction in trying to develop a new habit. So that's how tapas plays in, and it's that ability to tolerate that mental discomfort when those habitual patterns rub up against a more beneficial pattern. So I just want to just offer that to you. And maybe this is already something that you're working with. I don't know. But you might give it a little more reflection time, and see if there is something that you want to add into and let go of. Is it letting go or adding in? Because one thing might end up showing up to replace another. So give it a little thought over this next several weeks and see if there's something that comes to you. All right. So let's go ahead and take a comfortable seat. And allow yourself to connect to the support beneath you. To connect all the way down into the earth. Lengthening your spine and beginning to bring in your ujjayi. And this morning, can you once again balance the inhale with your exhale? And can you resist the rush to go to the exhale? So you really, I'm not asking you to suspend the inhale, but more you inhale, whatever that might be, 6, 8, 10. Can you notice at the top, before the breath turns around, that you can just linger there for a moment without trying to restrict, and then you smoothly bring the exhale. And again, noticing the pause before the breath turns around. when you get to the bottom of your next exhale, you're welcome to release any control on your breath. Bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. And we'll start our practice by chanting the sound of Om. And we'll sing Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings in all realms find peace and happiness. So taking a deep inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And then with your next exhale, let's bow your head towards your heart. And you can release your hands, lift your gaze. Okay. So I'm not going to specifically coach you on all the different things we've been working on, not this morning anyway. We'll save that for Wednesday. But that's not to say that you wouldn't do any of those things we've been working on, right? All right. So let's go ahead and come over to all fours. So these, we're going to be doing just a little bit with downward dog, just so you know in the beginning. So let's take, we can have blocks at the top of the mat. First, we're going to start on all fours. So you're going to come into all fours. The wrists are underneath the shoulders. You can look at the hands. Line up the bones of the fingers with the bones of your hands. The soft part of the elbow is pointing towards the root of your thumb. And with your next exhale, press up to cat pose. Your inhale, you're going to go to cow. And can you do 2 more? And can you work at the pace that is the pace of your ujjayi? The full length of the exhale. And the full length of your inhale. And then you'll do 1 more cat pose. Table. And then let's take blocks for downward facing dog, just because we have not opened up the calves this morning. We'll tuck the toes under and come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. When your next inhale rises, come to plank. Use the full length of the inhale to come there. Working again on that steadiness. Your exhale, pressing up and back again. And can you be steady on the midline? The inhale forward to plank. The exhale back. There you are, downward facing dog. And then with your next exhale, step your right foot forward. So you're in a lunge. You're in the lunge, hands on your blocks. Using the ujjayi. And let's step back, downward dog. Inhale in your downward dog pose. Exhale, step your left foot forward. And you know many pieces of the low lunge. You've done thousands of low lunges in your yoga time, and the strength of reaching back into the back leg, all the way into the back inner heel. And then let's inhale, we're going to step forward. Exhale into Uttanasana. Inhaling halfway. You can always bring the blocks with you to help support you as you come into this Ardha Uttanasana, half Uttanasana. And then exhale, bowing. Inhale halfway. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, lift both arms. Stay there for your exhale. Can you draw the lower abdominal organs back to meet the front of the sacrum? What happens at the back of the sacrum when you draw the organs to meet the front of it? And then the inhale up, pressing down into the heels, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. And then releasing both arms, taking a wide stance. And we'll take a block. We can move a block to each outer shin or ankle. We'll inhale the arms out, and let's spin. Let's go to your left. So your left foot's going to go out, and your right heel's dropping back. Setting up for warrior two. And so inhaling deeply. Exhale, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. So I can still be practicing the ujjayi. I know that the left inner thigh is long. The back heel is grounded. We're going to release the back arm and inhale to a rising warrior. Still reaching back. And then we exhale. We're going to go to side angle. Come up off the front hip a little as you come up and over. And then you'll inhale all the way back, warrior two. And then let's inhale, lift both arms, straighten the front leg, release the arms, and spin your feet to go the other direction. So now you've got the right foot out and the left foot in. The inhale, bring the arms out. And the exhale, warrior two. How do you balance the weight in the heels right now? Still working with the Ujjayi. Working with a lot of strength and steadiness so that the mind can be a little more disciplined. It's not jumping over to the next pose, the next place, staying present. And then let's inhale to a rising warrior. And your exhale coming to side angle. When you do, you straighten the front leg slightly so that the weight, yep. Good. And you could go a little longer, Jackie. Take that back foot back a little more. And Anne, yeah, thank you, Anne. Lengthening out that right inner thigh. Good, that's it. Reaching all the way up, all the way through the side. Looks beautiful. And then we'll inhale, come all the way back up. And then exhale, let's straighten the front leg. And then let's turn the feet and let's make the feet parallel. Hands up on the hips. We'll inhale, lifting through the top of the breastbone, and exhale, we're bowing forward. Hands can come either to your blocks or to the ground. We'll walk the hands out, downward dog arms. So the inner sit bones are going broad, widening away from each other. And then we're going to bring the hands back. Shift the hands to your hips. Inhale, come up. And we'll step the feet together. We're going to take Rikshasana, tree pose. So if you want to be close to a wall, it would be left side of your body close to a wall. We're going to, because you're going to stand on your right leg first. So when you're ready, shifting the weight to the right, reaching into the earth, drawing that outer hip in towards the center of the pelvis. Releasing the arms, the leg. And getting ready, second side. Drawing the outer hip. Remember where the core of the pelvis is. Where's the center? Remember the cohesion that the Ujjayi brings you. And release. And then step the feet a little wider. Turn the toes out at about a 45. Again, this will depend on the alignment of knees to toes. Knees to toes. We're going to inhale the arms wide. Exhale, bend both knees, bring the arms forward. Inhale, pull the arms towards you. Exhale, press them away. Knees are wide, weight in the heels. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, press down, lengthen up, release the arms. Inhale the arms back out. Exhale, bring them forward, bend both knees. Knees are pointing toward the toes. Change the clasp of the hands. The inhale, draw them toward you. Exhale, push them away. Inhale, your next inhale, up go the arms. Exhale, release the arms, press down. Feel the strength of the legs. Inhale the arms out. Exhale again, bending both knees, bringing the hands forward, back to the first clasp. The inhale, draw the hands towards you. The exhale, push them away. Your inhale, up. Your exhale, pressing down, releasing. One more time. Inhale, the arms wide. Your exhale, hands together, changing the clasp. All the way back up. Great. Good. That's it. And then let's step the feet back together. Mountain pose. And you're welcome to close the eyes to notice where the body, where's the weight in your feet. And also you might notice just the heart, your heart beating. And then let that go. And let's bring our blocks toward the top of our mat. It's interesting, you know, we all have an aversion to certain poses or certain things that are happening. Aside from, I mean, not to say that the physical pieces are very important. So if you're taking care of yourself and it's like, oh, I can't do that pose. But have you ever noticed in your yoga practice, if you even have a habit of when it comes to a particular pose, you go to the bathroom or you go get a drink of your coffee or, I mean, you know, it's interesting sometimes when we watch how the mind kind of leads us out of where we're going. Oh gosh, it's pretty interesting. Start watching that. Okay, so blocks are at the top of your mat. And let's go ahead and we're going to step the right leg back. Your right leg back. We're going to take Uttanasana. So the left leg's pointing straight ahead. Your back leg has a slight turnout. We're going to do these like a little series with the breathing. So on this one, we're going to bring the breath. The inhale is going to be through the nose, but the exhale is going to be out the mouth. That slow straw exhale on the way down. The inhale will be, will stay down there for a full breath. And the inhale will be coming in through the nose, all the way up. The exhale, out the mouth, all the way down. We'll do 3 on each side, okay? So here we go. We're gonna go inhale, arms wide. Exhale, out the mouth, out that slow straw breath. Hands come down to either blocks or the ground. You stay down for a full inhale and a full exhale. Your next inhale, you're coming up, arms out wide. The exhale out the mouth. As you bow forward, staying down for an inhale. And the exhale. The inhale rising. Exhale down again. Releasing the front top of the breastbone, releasing the head. And then on your next inhale, rising. We'll step forward. And of course, I want you to go at the pace of your breath. So let's step your left foot back. And then again, when you're ready, inhale the arms out. Exhale out the mouth. A full breath cycle while you're down. When your inhale rises, you rise. And keep going. And this the third one on this side. And we meet just in mountain pose. Let's inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, straighten both legs. So you're pressing down in the heels, reaching all the way back up. Exhale, chair. Hips go back. Tone the deep abdominals. One more time, you're going to press all the way up. Ujjayi is helpful. Exhale, chair. Exhale, bow. Inhale, straighten the legs. And exhale, downward facing dog. Your inhale, plank. Slowly, the full inhale, steady on the midline. And your exhale, downward facing dog. Again, slow, steady. One more time, you come to plank. Back to downward facing dog. We'll walk the hands toward the feet. Shift them up to your hips. And inhale, come up. Exhale, hands, Anjali Mudra. Yeah, just noticing the residue of your practice. And then release the arms. And we're gonna step forward towards your blocks. So it's always interesting to me. I mean, I get to have, Diego, he's in the room with me. And, even when animals are very perceptive. They pick up on a lot that we don't, because they're not distracted by all the things that we're distracted by. So even as I step back and come into mountain pose there, come in here, it's like once I really arrive there, he lets out this big sigh. So it's always interesting to know and to feel like through the practice, the residue, the quiet that is in your own system, or not, depending on what kind of day you're having, or how well you slept, or how you began your day. That's where you want to start really experimenting. Okay, so I want us to have an opportunity to do mountain pose. I mean, not mountain pose, half moon. So if we're going to go to half moon, I want to do it again from Tadasana. If you want to have your foot to be able to go to the wall, you're welcome to do that. We've been practicing with that, so you could. If you want to use the wall, first you got to kind of size up so that the toes will just touch the wall. So you figure out how far that is, if you want to have that option. If you want to just see where you're at today, you could always just be in the middle of the room. But at any rate, you've got your blocks out there or whatever you're using to help you. And let's have you start by you're going to stand on the right side first. So you're facing the blocks, left foot comes back. Remember the midline, that you're working on the midline of the pose of your body that you've been doing so much work with in these past weeks. So when you're ready, find your breath and come to half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Again, remembering the standing leg and to lengthen all the way out from the core of the pelvis to the lifted leg. Ujjayi. To come back to Uttanasana, you give a bend to the front knee and start to come up. And then we take the second side. So when you're ready, left leg forward, right foot back. And exhale, coming down, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Drawing that outer hip in on the standing leg. And then from the core of the pelvis, reach out the raised leg. Using your Ujjayi. That's it. You're cultivating all that strength. Great. Yes. Yes. When you're ready, you'll soften the front knee and step forward with the back. You come all the way back to Tadasana. Yep. Great. Inhale, lift both your arms up. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart. And then exhale, turn the palms toward your heart. Place your hands on your heart. Close your eyes. Just for a moment, just taking in the efforts of your practice, your breath, the work you've been doing, all the things you do to cultivate this moment. And then we'll release the arms. Let's inhale, lift both arms again. Exhale, chair, Utkatasana. Your next exhale, bowing forward. Hands can come to blocks or the floor. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. And then we'll exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway again. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Staying in your plank. Can you find that deep transversus abdominis, that deepest layer? And then with your next exhale, lower both knees and take child's pose. All right. And then we'll walk the hands back. Coming up to just sitting for a moment. All right, I want to bring this into our modified shoulder stand that we've been using with a blanket, a strap, and 2 blocks. If you're not inverting, you could take a shoulder stand reclining. So you could take one blanket, fold it in half lengthwise. This is if you're not going into the full shoulder stand, I want to show those people who aren't. You could take a blanket end to end. You've got a block available, or you can use a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you'll take a block under the blanket, and this will be your reclined shoulder stand because it helps connect into Jalandhara Bandha. So this is the reclined version. Those of you that are going up into your kind of a supported bridge, or all the way up into your modified shoulder stand. And in the near future, we're going to take these shoulder stands and go up a little higher. You've got a blanket to put the shoulders on. You'll want your yoga strap and your 2 blocks. So if you already know it and you know what you're doing, go ahead and go for it. If you're not sure, then you'll have a strap with a loop in it. You have your 2 blocks available. Shoulders are on the blanket, head is on the ground. 1 block on the low setting under the bony pelvis. 1 block on the medium setting. Check in there with yourself and go, is this the right height for you? For your low back, for the pelvis, does this feel like the right height? Some of you, 1 block is plenty. Some of you, 2 blocks on the low setting is plenty. Because if you're going to go to any higher, you want to make sure that's coming from the front of the hips, not the lumbar. That you're not changing the lumbar into a deeper back bend. Then the strap is going to go between the blocks and the feet. Hands are in it. There's a supported bridge. You could stay in supported bridge. Or pressing out on the strap, you might come up with the knees and up with the legs. All of us, even if you're in the reclining pose, you're still lifting at the upper breastbone. Upper breastbone lifts. Those of you that are in more of an inversion, press out on the strap. See if that helps you to lift through that upper breastbone, to let the collarbones roll up, the inner collarbone roll up. The eyes can be closed, but no matter if they're open or closed, have the gaze, the eyeballs themselves turned, as if you could look through the cheekbones. And you'll notice when you have the eyes turned more down, more inward like that, you'll see what happens at the brainstem. What is the breath like right now? And then if you're up, we'll go ahead and bend the knees. If you've got the legs up, bring the feet to the ground. Remove one of your blocks. And then, so those of you that did the more of an inversion, you'll remove your second block if you had one and walk towards your head so that you can put the pelvis on the blanket. Those of you that have the block, if you were in the reclined shoulder stand, you can take the block out. And if you were in the reclined version, you could also walk a little more towards your head and just take the very top of the shoulders to the ground. So back of the head and the top of the shoulders on the floor. Alrighty, and then we're gonna roll over to one side, use the arms to press ourselves back up. And we're gonna take Ardha Matsyendrasana 2. So we could sit on one blanket. We need our strap. And we'll take left leg straight, the right foot to the inner knee. If there's space between the outer knee and the floor, then put something there to take up that space. All right, and then you take the strap, take the loop of the strap and put it around the straight leg, foot. The tail comes around to your right outer hip. Left hand reaches back over there to grab onto the tail. Right arm reaches forward towards the foot, grabs the strap. You're turning toward the straight leg. Still working with your Ujjayi. And then we'll go ahead and come back to center. Let's take the strap off and let's switch sides. So, I mean, I didn't say it. I don't know if any of you sit in lotus pose, but if you sit in half lotus, the foot could come all the way up. As opposed, otherwise it's good to take it to the knee. The loop goes around the straight leg and the tail goes around the outer hip of the bent knee. Reach back, grab on, reach forward, and we're twisting toward the straight leg. Using the ujjayi. And then we'll come back to center. Take the strap off. Let's straighten both legs. And give the knees. All right. So let's take we're going to do a reclined Baddha Konasana, but with some support for the lower legs. So if you take, how many blankets do you have? Let's see. We're going to take a blanket and I'll fold it in half lengthwise. And then I've got another one I'm going to put on there. And if you have more, it's better. If you have a bolster, great. If you have more blankets or pillows or whatever, it's helpful to get the ankles up high. So, and we're going to use our strap too. So like here's 4 blankets and a big old fat bolster. We're going to take the strap. It doesn't have to have, we're going to use the loose end. All right, so we've got our stack. And you might remember this one. So when I come into it, I go close in to my stack so that when I bring my legs up there, I'm going to take my strap over my feet. And I'll just, hold them with the strap. So I feel the whole, the back of my legs against my stack. I feel my outer shins. And in this place, we're gonna just rest for a little bit. Relaxing down into the ground. So you might notice when you first come into it that you might have the pubic bone kind of lifted away from the navel. And you're just check in with yourself. Can you rest into the ground? So my arms are resting, even though I have a hold of the strap, just to support my feet touching each other. And with each exhale, again, like the snow globe that you shook up, and then now it's just sitting and everything is beginning to settle down towards the back of the body. You might even notice that there's a settling or a change that's happening at the inner thigh. Maybe it's closer to the pelvis. Maybe it's closer, maybe it's the outer knees. Maybe the outer knees can become more broad. All right, and then we're gonna take the strap off of our feet and roll down to one side and use your arms to push yourself back up. All right, so we're gonna take a pranayama practice. So, and then we're gonna have Shavasana after pranayama. So, decide, what sort of support you want for this seated pranayama, and also decide what the support is going to look like for your Shavasana. So that when you go to Shavasana, you can go there without disturbing the quiet that you created in your pranayama. All right, so this pranayama, we're going to take the box breathing. But so to begin, sometimes I actually really like to have something on my lap this one's a little too big, a little tall. But sometimes I like having something to rest my arms on. Or sometimes I take a mudra. I often do a mudra. It's called the dynamic mudra. I'll show it to you. I use it every day in meditation because because of the body work I do, I want to feel really connected from my heart to my hands. So if you want to try this mudra, here's what it looks like. You take the left hand and you hook the thumbs together, right thumb on top of the left, and then I curl my left hand over both of my thumbs. And then I take my hands to hug. This is the dynamic mudra. So again, it was just right thumb over left. I bring the thumbs together, take my fingers over my thumbs, and then my right hand cradles both my hands. And that's the mudra I do to really connect my heart, my hands, well, whatever, you'll either notice it or whatever, it doesn't matter. Or you can just rest the hands on your lap. Either way, go ahead and close your eyes and just drop into your breath for a moment. And after your next exhale, drop into your ujjayi and balancing 1 to 1 in your ujjayi. So we're going to take this and turn this into box breathing. So again, on the box breathing, you might, it's going to be a 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 ratio. So you might be inhaling for a count of 5, suspending the breath for a count of 5, exhaling for a count of 5, and just suspending the exhale for 5, and you keep going, or whatever number works for you. Just begin at the bottom of an exhale. And at the bottom of your next exhale, you can release any control on your breath. And you're welcome to bring yourself to Shavasana. And allowing your breath to deepen. Just taking your time and being mindful as you transition yourself to one side and back up to sitting. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. So may the residue of our practice continue to support us in our interactions with others. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.